Welcome. I'm Andrea Clessy for Woman's Hospital. It's not the most pleasant procedure, but a colonoscopy can detect a variety of conditions and potentially save your life. Gastroenterologist Dr. Kerry Howell explains the basics.
People avoid colonoscopies basically because of the fear. Two things. They don't want to do the prep, they hear bad things about the prep, and they actually fear finding something inside their colon. And that actually keeps people away from doing more colons just because they fear colon cancer. The prep on colonoscopies, it's about a one-day prep. And so people have to be on liquids, clear liquids during the day before. And you also have to take a laxative. Now, the laxatives can be either a large volume fluid, such as Go Lightly or Colite or New Lightly, or they can have some of the smaller ones, so like the Osmocote pills, which will allow you to go without having to take a large amount of liquid. However, the pills are a high number. You take about 32 pills. The percentage of people that we find colon cancers without a family history of colon cancer or colon polyps is really pretty low. It may be just about 10–12%, and that's just a general figure. But you do a considerable amount of negative colonoscopies to try to find the ones with it. The big thing is not so much the colon cancers as it is the colon polyps, because colon polyps will degenerate into colon cancers if left there a long period of time. So your main problem is trying to find the colon polyps or the precursors of the colon cancers before we ever have any difficulties with the colon cancer itself. If you find colon polyps during a colonoscopy, if at all possible, if it's amenable to removing the colon polyp, we take it out, whether it's a flat polyp or a pedunculated polyp. If the polyp is so large that it is not able to be retrieved by the colonoscope, we'll either mark it or send it to surgery if there has a high suspicion. In that case, which we'll also do, is do multiple biopsies on the polyp and send it into pathology. The actual procedure of colonoscopy is quite simple. The person to have the colonoscopy is usually well sedated. They're almost always asleep during the entire procedure. In fact, I prefer them to be totally asleep. And you just advance the colonoscope. Now, the colonoscope is 6 feet long. And you just advance it very, very slowly up the left side of the colon and just move it over to the right side. The person who's having the procedure is laying on their left side, so it's usually quite comfortable. They don't have any sequelae after the procedure, except for gas. You do put in gas to look as you're looking out. The majority of the time when you're doing the procedure, when you're entering the colon, you're not looking as much as you're trying to get the colonoscope over to the right side of the colon. Beyond that point, once you come in, then you've got to start giving extra gas so that you can look at the entire colon. So the problem after the colonoscopy most people have is just passing a considerable amount of gas. Depending upon the procedure itself, depending upon if there's anything that needs to be performed, any procedures need to be performed at the time, should take no more than 15 or 20 minutes. Now, depending upon if you find colon polyps and you have some other problems that you have to remove colon polyps, it can go up to an hour. After the procedure itself, most people feel good by the time they go home. We usually keep people about maybe 30 to 40 minutes after the procedure until they're fully reactive from the sedation that they've received. And beyond that point, they can go home and do anything that they want. We ask them not to do anything dangerous, not to make any type of legal decisions for the simple reason that they receive sedation, and certainly not drive a car. The most common reason for doing colonoscopies, other than age, is a family history of colon polyps or colon cancer. The colon polyps, there are several genetic conditions, and usually you can find that out by the family history and just talking to the people themselves, because they know that their family has a high incidence of cancer or colon polyps. But usually mom and dad have, if they've had screenings and they've had colon polyps in the past, or if any of their brothers or sisters have had colon polyps, that's probably the biggest reason for doing the colonoscopy. Advice about colon itself is, one thing not to do is do colonic lavages, because they do not help, and actually they create problems with recurrent constipation. But a healthy lifestyle, exercise, we know that low-fat diets help because the fat content in your diet can produce carcinogens. We don't know if these carcinogens are specifically related to colon cancer directly, but we know that people who are on high-fat diets will have a higher chance of developing colon cancer. And of course, exercise never hurts. Many people I feel that they are become enchanted with the idea that if they have enemas or colon cleansing, that they will clean out the toxins in their colon and prevent them from having difficulties. And it's considerably dangerous because you can perforate the colon with enemas, and you can also develop more of a laxed colon so that you don't have regular bowel movements. And then you go into begin in the habit of taking laxatives, and which is not very good.
For more information, visit womans.org. Womans, exceptional care centered on you.